2016, and it is 6:30 p.m. Please stand for the invocation. Join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
now to establish a quorum, we have Councilman Tejada, Councilman Ortiz, Councilman Jimenez, and Councilwoman Cantu. Now please join me in reciting the U.S. Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Do we have any citizens' comments at this time? Yes, ma'am. Please step up and identify yourself. You have 5 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Debbie Ball, and I would just like to send my greetings to council tonight, and I would like to address the situation that we're having about the moving the voting date. Is that okay if I, no, you don't want me to?
There's been no, go ahead, but there's been no discussion about that, go ahead.
Okay, so what are we going to be in here for today then?
Based on the NARC list, it's what appears to be.
Appears to be. All right, well then I will go ahead and address the appears to be. First of all, what I'm seeing and hearing through our community is very disturbing because, number one, for those of us that are going to be running for council, it's going to be very inconvenient for all of us because we've signed up, we're ready to go with this. That's one thing that I would really like council to take into consideration, please. And then also the stirring of the discontent. I mean, we're in an election year, and I don't understand why there's so much discontent going on, and why this can't be done later. I understand from what I've seen and I've heard that you guys want to make it safer and more convenient for the voter. But I talked to Eva Martinez, and I mean, all of us know Eva. She is the most exceptional person as far as taking care of the county votes and the state votes and the federal votes. And I know she will be here for the city to take care of anything. And from my understanding, it will be very easy. It's like a one-stop shop to vote for your favorite candidate. I mean, you can't have it any easier than that. I did talk to the Secretary of State, also their attorneys, and they said that there's no wordage allowing a changing back to May in the election codes, which means then that if that's the same thing that the attorneys that you have hired tell you, then what you're going to be doing is you're going to have to go to court to go ahead and get this judged by a judge, if that's going to be the situation or not, or we're going to have a bill in the legislature to change that. I think what the state of Texas is trying to do is make it easy for the voters by having it all at one time. And then the last thing I'd like to go ahead and address is that the home rule charter violation. Is this going to be a home rule charter violation? Because a term equals 2 years. So if we go ahead and extend this to May, now we're adding 6 months to our terms. So those of you that are sitting there right now, how are we going to fix that without violating what the Home Rule Charter says now? Those are just kind of some things I wanted to put out for you guys to think about before you go into any more discussion on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Good evening, City Council.
And perhaps not all of you had an opportunity to read the Wilson County News, but in the Wilson County News, it specifically states that the Secretary of State, the Texas Secretary of State, advised Audrey Lewis, who's running for District Attorney in Wilson County, on Monday, that the voting date cannot be legally changed pursuant to 41.0052 of the Texas Election Code. So perhaps the attorneys that you've hired outside of Rosenberg firm aren't aware of this, and perhaps you're not aware of this. But it seems like the confidence that you have in the information that Chris Hugg gives you is not very high, that you have to spend taxpayer dollar to seek legal advice somewhere else. So perhaps you just need to hire Rios and fire Chris if you don't have confidence that he can interpret the information he receives. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Anyone else?
Madam Mayor, I have a comment. I'd like to talk about an article that came out in the Wilson County News, a very important article regarding the city of Floresville. It's not on the first page regarding what appears to be, but it's actually on page 6A, where the congressman came in and awarded a ceremonial check for $3.7 million for a water improvement project. This is kudos to our city council, to our staff, Henrietta Turner, our engineers, our attorneys to work on this. This is going to replace every water meter in the city of Floresville. And what that does with our meters, it keeps a better record of our water usage and consumption, which possibly could be more revenue for the city. Regarding the issues that some of the citizens brought up, there has been absolutely no discussion about some of the things they mentioned, absolutely none. So it's a perception that was created. I don't see anything changing for the November election on my part.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other comments, we'll go to new business. And I will go first to the executive session. And I'm going to ask the council to give me a motion for no action due to scheduling conflict with legal counsel.
Madam Mayor, I'll say it again, that I don't think there's been any intention of making any changes. I think there was an inquiry regarding the different polling places. The council has voted to keep the election sites the same. Be 2 polling sites for the first time in the history of Floresville. But there has been no other discussion regarding anything else from what I understand. And I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I second.
Any comments? All right, may I have a vote, please? All those in favor of no action on this item, raise your right hand. All opposed? Madam Secretary? 4-0, motion carries. Now we'll go to the next one. Item A, CNA to approve ordinance 2016-000, approving and adopting a budget for the city of Floresville, Texas for fiscal year 2016 through 2017, beginning October the 1st, 2016, and ending September the 30th, 2017. Mrs. Turner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, City Council. All right, so this is a continuation of one of our special meetings, and again, I will start out the meeting to say that I am going to ask you to probably not take action on this because we still have some housekeeping things to do on the budget. I know we weren't able to meet and discuss last night, but I think you have before you the package that we had last night. What is going to be key for our September 8th meeting is that we need to pass some line item kind of things, some items, a checklist of things based on the recommendation of the attorney, so that we can make sure that we hit these things and put them in the budget, so we can finally approve our budget, I believe, September 12th. So do you have before you the revised August 30th executive overview? So that's what we're going to be going through for that. Is that okay, Mayor? Does everybody have one?
Yes.
Okay, so what we have so far, these are some of the executive overviews that we've done so far for the budget for fiscal year 2016-2017. And these things affect most of the major the three sources that we have, our general fund, the water fund, and the sewer fund. Okay, so as we talk about these things, you're gonna have to let me know and let the secretary know, she's gonna follow along which one we wanna have, because you need to approve that so that Connie can get the final numbers into the budget. Are we okay? So looking at number one, short-term disability, we talked about, that's a cost associated with that. You've had a presentation on that. And so if you all, and Chris, can I, at this point, ask for consensus or say that that's something you want to move forward to make action on?
Right, well, what they can do is say, if there's an item that we really want an action on to consider, they can propose it for the meeting on the 8th. And if there's something not on the list that they desire, they can also propose that to be included on that agenda, and then the full council would take a vote on it at that time.
Okay, so are we clear, everybody? So looking at this, do we want to move this forward for CNA action on the 8th, so that I can put that into the budget for final numbers on the 12th? The 12th?
Yes.
So is everybody okay with that? Can that be a CNA action?
I thought you said the 8th.
Okay, the 8th is when you have to vote on it, so that I can actually finalize it in the budget on the 12th. We have to have a public hearing on the budget on the 12th, and then that'll finalize the budget.
Thank you.
So does anybody have, is this okay, we can move this one forward for CNA action of the short-term disability? Again, I reiterate that it's like it will affect all three of the major funds. It is supported by the, as you as employers, and the cost is approximately $10,000.
Council, do y'all have any changes on that first one?
I need more time to review this.
No.
On the short-term
Is
disability,
there are items that you want, because we have to have the agenda posted Friday, because Monday is a holiday,
okay.
so you can bring them by, write them out, or email them, or text them, or something to either Ms. Turner or, I guess, Monica, to put on the draft agenda, and have it on there, for any items that you want to include, that you would sponsor. So what Henry is asking for is on this short-term disability interim budget cost, a council person that's interested in that and wants to sponsor that item for a CNA. If not, then it wouldn't be included on there, and it would be part of the discussion on Thursday
Okay,
meeting.
so council, would you prefer to do that? Take your time and look at it and circle the items?
Yes.
And
You
then-
absolutely have to have it in, Monica, because you post
Friday
at 5.
morning, I post
so-
at 5, so I have to have the agenda
Okay.
finalized.
And if nothing is turned in, then you
Then
assume
it
that
doesn't go
it's
on.
okay as it is,
Correct.
right? Okay.
So if there's no course, if you don't know, then it doesn't go on. I need to hear yes, but a no comment means it doesn't go on the agenda to be addressed.
Okay.
So then I'll just go over them, and just so that we can review them. And just starting with the short-term disability, that is something that we did offer, and I believe that Mr. Talley from Talley Benefits explained those options to you. Then we have the tuition reimbursement. I know we still need to have some final legal review. There were some comments after that workshop meeting. The attorney will be working on that once we finish it. It will be effective once October 1, and the attorney had a chance to bring another policy back to you, but that takes care of the tuition reimbursement. That costs us about $15,000. And then the medical insurance increase is 15.8. We have the policy for retirement parties pending final review, because you all had a few suggestions, and that we can come back with a final policy. But I'm talking budgeting purposes at this time. Bereavement flower policy, pending some final review. Adjustment salary inequities, and you have a new chart in your packages that broke it up per fund, as you spoke of the other day. Increase due to merit raises somewhere between 2.5 and 4.5 as recommended, and you have that in your policy as well. And longevity pay was exactly the same. I believe that was $50 per year, based on what we did last year, and that's in there as well.
Repeat the amount, please.
$50 per year,
Thank you.
that, but it does exclude the city manager, so.
Ms. Turner, before we go on to the next, well, go ahead and finish number 9. But after you do that, can you give an overview to the members of the audience, how our sewer fund looks, how our water fund looks, and our general fund?
Yes, sir. So longevity. Then we go to administrative staff salaries. This will be split funded between general fund, water, and sewer. You have the list of the 6 employees that will now be split funded to 3 funds instead of 2. And I think, Mayor, you were asking which 6, and so those are the 6. Okay. If you would allow our comptroller to speak to the status of those funds, she can speak to that better than I. And then I'll come back to item number 10.
Good evening, Council, Councilwoman, Mayor. For the budget for 2016, 2017, for all the funds, governmental funds, including general fund, debt service, hotel motel, street maintenance, child safety fund, court technology, court security, state forfeiture, recreational fees, capital projects, is estimated to be $6,519,473, and that is the proposed budget. For enterprise funds, which includes water, sewer, refuse fund, cemetery, 4A, and it also includes 4B, that's a total of $5,950,806. Total budget for $12,467,279. Now, if you want to know general fund, estimated budget for 2016, 2017 is $4,138,386. For water, $1,551,790. For sewer, $1,589,358.
Could you address the balances of the reserves in those accounts in water and sewer?
No, sir, because I was not prepared for that.
Okay,
That
that's
is
what I
on-
think we already discussed, that there was 4 in one and 3 in another.
Water fund and sewer fund.
Water fund and sewer fund.
Yeah, well, water and sewer fund combined, they have a total of reserve of $4 million, almost $5 million
7.
together, yes.
7. I think you said 7. 4 and 3.
Yeah, I don't have it, and I would like not to address it since I'm not sure about the numbers.
But it's a reserve.
There is a reserve there, absolutely. For general fund, we only have $435,000, according to the audit. And the reason why I don't want to address water and sewer is because we still have not split the fund balance among the 2 funds. They were all together in one fund, and that has not happened yet because we have not audited the year where they were separated. Okay,
Thank you.
did that answer your question? Any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then if we can continue to item number 10, which talks about new positions in this budget. We have a new police officer, and they're listed here as you all indicated. Okay. If there's any other additions that I didn't catch, you can just let me know. Vacant position, we have a laborer, a water laborer. That's a vacant position because you asked me to list new and vacant. Capital projects is here.
What did you have there? Vacant.
You asked me to list new positions in the budget, which is item number 10. Vacant positions, which is item number 11. 12 are our capital projects, listed A through F. The general fund cuts that we talked about per line item are listed there in generality. Item number 14 talks about the street maintenance program, bringing it in-house, and additional funding that is available, and I did double check with that amount with the city secretary, the city comptroller, and she said in the tax note 2016, I believe there's somewhere around $320,000 for street improvements overall. And Councilman Yetta, we used your name a lot last night, the other night, because you made it, when you made that motion, you made it very general, not specific, so we can use it for equipment, street, maintain, anything doing with streets, we can use it for the street maintenance program itself. And then, as you requested a revised organizational chart, which is in your packet, a revised salary base change, which is in your packet, and job descriptions per department, as the mayor requested, are in your packages as well. So again, if I can reiterate, we do need to have, which items do you all need to approve so that we can get that in the budget for the September 8th meeting. We need to have that no later than Friday noon to the secretary and or myself. And if you're sponsoring that, that's fine. If you just care to have it voted on, we can address that as well.
Right here in the new positions, I don't see a code compliance person.
I spoke to that, and I think I spoke to the director of that department, and we still believe that code compliance and the building inspector can do both jobs. I don't think it's enough for 2 positions. But
If he wants to put it on as a CNA item.
I was about to say that. But if you care to have that as a CNA item, let me do that. However, please remember that as I'm presenting to you now with these new positions, all funds are balanced. If we add an additional position, then
So
your general fund will not be
you're maybe
balanced.
saying that the persons that are in that department are gonna be doing code compliance now?
Yes.
And planning, permits?
Yes.
Chris, on item 12C, Ms. Turner, Park Capital Improvement Project. I'd like for there to be a CNA, since there's different funding sources, how that project is being funded. Possibly the Texas Parks and Wildlife and 4B sales tax funding. I'd like to have an action item, how those funds will be allocated on 12C.
Yes, sir, but if I can speak to Texas Wildlife Grant, actually on September 8th, you will be having a public hearing, and you'll also be having a CNA to apply for that grant, so that's already on the agenda
Okay.
for Texas Wildlife.
This funding for the tax note.
Well, actually, in the motion that Councilman Yento made, it said that you would spend $1 million for parks.
Right. But specific,
In the motion, it didn't have a number. It just said that the monies would be expended for it.
Okay, well then we'll make sure that we indicate that line item.
Can I address this?
Yeah, when is the money coming?
Okay, we don't have it yet.
Council.
If that's what you're addressing and you want to see it on the budget, you cannot see it on the budget until we actually get the money. So once we get the money and then I come
I'm talking
before
about how it'll be
council.
allocated, how it'll be spent.
Yes, so
Yeah.
you can take that motion, but what she's saying, it won't be reflected in the budget until we receive those funds.
Right.
And then once it's on the budget, you will see a line item for each project.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be funded before,
We probably get the money, maybe not this week, but next week.
okay, yeah, so we're good.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we have that in that item. And we will sponsor that under your name, Councilman?
Please.
I was just waiting to see if you had any other feedback there.
Any other questions? Okay, so, is that the end of your presentation
Yes, ma'am.
for now? All right. So, may I have a motion? And it's not to approve it at this time, but to turn in items by Tuesday.
By Friday.
Friday.
Right.
I'm sorry, by Friday. What is that date?
It's, we're gonna do it in September. Yeah, it'll be the second,
The second.
September 2nd.
September the 2nd? Did you say by noon? on approving it, but to turn in the items
By Friday.
by Friday,
So moved.
by noon. Okay, I have a second.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Citizens' comments? None? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed?
5-0.
5-0, motion carries. There being no other items, the meeting's adjourned.